Hi, Bill.
Hey,
What the man say? Yeah, it's very interesting. I've known you for such a long time. We've been friends for quite a while. When I got to know you through the Bermuda Triangle. Bill, Bob, and Paul. Yeah, I was at the Barefoot Bar. Okay. Now the subject is Pan, right?
right.
Pan, I was a little kid, one of the youngest kids in my neighborhood when Pan started. Pan started with trash cans, like, we used to steal barrels to make pans. And as far as I know, Pan was a kind of outlawish thing. The hooligans and the bad boys. It was an underprivileged instrument because we was poor. We couldn't buy a piano or saxophone, so we had to resort to anything that could make a rhythm. But as far as the pan, the bands, the steel bands, if you observe the names of the bands, come from the United States, like movies, the Casablanca, the Desperados, the Invaders, the Tripoli. All those are movies that came to Trinidad from the United States, and the bands, the steel bands, Tokyo, Destination Tokyo, the movie, Japan, the war. Invaders was another movie. Casablanca, well, you know Casablanca, Bogey and Bacall. Anyway, we, the band Hill 60, which the name turned into Chicago because on the Mardi Gras Day, we always play the military. And the military band that we used to play was Chicago. So eventually the band adopted the name Chicago. We was the first steel band ever to play on Radio Trinidad on a program they called Hi Neighbor with Sam Ghani and Frank Prado. I hope you Trinidadians listening and acknowledge the name Frank Prado and Sam Ghani and Hi Neighbor. We was the first steel band among the others with the Panorama in 1958 when the first Panorama started. And we was the first steel band to ever leave Trinidad and went on a tour. We went to Brazil. First stop was Belém do Pará, Brazil. Then Fortaleza, Recife, Natal, Belo Horizonte, Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, Santos, Porto Alegre, was bordered with Argentina. We spent one night in Argentina, and then we went on to Peru, Chile, Panama. We went through the Panama Canal. No steel band ever did that. We went through the Panama Canal. Then we went to Costa Rica, San Salvador. Then we went to Mexico. And from Mexico, we came to the United States. Went straight to Hollywood. We played at the Moulin Rouge Theater. No steel band ever did that. We was trying to join the local 47 musicians union. They wouldn't allow us to join because we was not resident. We were no resident or citizens. So we get the union, the musician union will send us back to the immigration. The immigration will send us back to the union, and so they keep giving us the runaround. But we befriend a guy from the musician union. His name was Jimmy Clark. And then we befriended another guy from the immigration. His name was Jack Fortner. So we was advised to try New York. When we wrote to New York to join the Musician Association, and they sent back, New York sent back and said we would not tolerate any oil drum band in our Musician Association. So eventually they had at the Moller Route they had $1,000 plate dinner for, I can't remember the celebrity, and we was invited to play, and then limbo dancers. So we put on such a show that eventually they gave us temporary permit in the union. Okay, so far after that, the manager that we had was two guys, both of them from Brazil. One was a doctor and one was a lawyer, Jose Borges and Ribama Rosa. And they got us to work in Palm Springs. In Palm Springs is where we met. We took pictures with John Wayne, and at one time we was booked to play for our old President Eisenhower. So I got to shake hands with John Wayne, and I got to meet the President Eisenhower. The history. No steel band ever did that. The band became the first steel band to ever come to California, the very first. And we met with a Virgin Island band, where we became friends. But at the same time, we did so many things that we was first time that we ever did, that steel band ever did, that we never get credit for. You have eliminated all over the place, Neville Jules, and all them guys all over when Steel Talk and Steel talking a lot of shit that they don't know nothing about. And through history, Eddie Manet did a lot for Pan. And but he was not the first to make pans. Pan started way back in the late 40s. After World War II. But during the war, they stopped the carnival. They banned the carnival because of the war. And after the war, we had some holidays they called one was Victory over Europe, VE Day, and Victory over Japan, VJ Day. We was allowed to go on the street and party. But steel band was always known to belong to the hooligans, the bad boys. I remember in my school days going to school, I was going to a school they called Belmont Intermediate, and the head of the school was a guy named Defoe, Mr. Defoe. All the kids had to line up in the yard, and he would lecture to the guys, and especially like the carnival will be Saturday, Sunday will be party time. Friday will be the last day before the carnival week, coming up Monday and Tuesday. And he will be telling the kids in the school, stay away from those steel band hooligans. I mean, a teacher. My father was a teacher, but I never grew up with my father. But anyway, this portion of this history, we will continue at another time. Because I just turned 83, March 7, 1933, I was born. I just turned it. Me and my brother Ray, he was the first guy to tune a chromatic 23 note pan. You never get credit for that. Because they had they were sending a band to the Festival of Britain. And they picked all the captain and the all-star men from the band, they call it Trinidad All-Steel Percussion Orchestra, TASPO. Eddie Mannett was one, he went with them. Our band, had really love a steel. But in that case, they decided when they was forming the band, who is going to tune the pans for the band? Well, everybody had their ego, so they decided everybody would tune their own pan. And my brother Ray, he was the only guy to present a 23-note chromatic pan. Eddie Mannett claimed he had $1 million, his pan had $1 million note, this one had 2,000 note and 3,000 note. None of them really could bring a pan. Ray was the only one, my brother Ray, to tune a 23-note chromatic pan. Anyway, like I say, this interview will continue when I go home and recollect some more history. Thank you very much, Bill. You've been very supportive.
Thank you.